Well, good evening. What an absolutely bonkers day. I'm going to be doing a full tale of the tape at 10 p.m. But Sir Keir Starmer might limp on, but today is the day the Labour government died. Today is the day the reputation of all the Labour cabinet died. Keir Starmer was on the brink.
Could it be the Prime Minister's last? That is the question.
Yeah, Sir Keir Starmer sacrificed his closest ally and Chief of Staff in a bid to save his premiership.
But will that be enough to calm the storm, or is the Prime Minister dangerously close to checkmate?
Just another quiet day in Westminster, isn't it? The political psychodrama absolutely goes off the Richter scale. As about 15 minutes ago, the Scottish Labour leader Anna Sarwar calls for the resignation of Sir Keir Starmer.
But why? Why was he in this mess? It's because he appointed the friend of the world's most notorious paedophile to the position of US ambassador. And he's confirmed on record that he knew Mandelson was still friends with Epstein when he appointed him.
Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear.
Yes, it did.
And now it comes down to whether or not Labour cabinet ministers and MPs think giving a job to the friend of a sadistic, depraved paedophile is a bad thing, and whether or not they're willing to keep supporting the bloke who did that. And today, every single Labour cabinet minister decided they would support him. Every single one of them. Even Angela Rayner backed him. Look at all these tweets here. It's almost like they had a gun held to their head and they were told to do it, isn't it? New Deputy Leader Lucy Powell did an interview praising Starmer, boasting about how great he is under pressure.
What people should understand about Keir is that he withstands pressure really well. In fact, he sort of thrives off pressure, and he wants people to understand that he is so sorry about what happened with Peter Mandelson. Sorry to the victims. It was a mistake, and he's said that and he's apologised for it. But he also wants to show people that he gets it and he understands the changes that need to follow from that, and so that people see that we understand it.
Oh, he's great under pressure. He loves pressure. He's like a diamond. What makes diamonds? Pressure makes diamonds. That's our Keir, isn't it? Right. Well, why is he under pressure, Lucy? Because he appointed the friend of the world's most notorious, horrific paedophile to the role of US ambassador. I mean, no Labour cabinet minister can ever claim to care about the safety of women and girls again. They can't claim to care about child abuse ever again. But I mean, we kind of know how they feel about it, don't we? Lucy Powell was eventually forced to apologise for this.
I don't know if you saw the documentary on Channel 4 about rape gangs over
No,
this.
we want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? Yeah, okay.
There was a real issue.
Let's get that dog whistle out, shall we? Yeah.
Here's Keir Starmer on the rape gangs.
And when politicians, and I mean politicians, who sat in government for many years, are casual about honesty, decency, truth and the rule of law, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
There you go. Rape gang survivors have accused Jess Phillips of calling them liars.
Allegations of intentional delay, lack of interest or widening of the inquiry's scope and dilution are false. The inquiry will remain laser focused on grooming gangs as Baroness Casey recommended.
Wow. The Labour Party has been accused of covering it up for years. Many of the 55 towns and cities with rape gangs were Labour areas. So it's no surprise that not a single Labour cabinet minister thinks appointing a paedophile's mate to the role of US ambassador is a resigning issue. They're happy to let Starmer limp on, and they're doing it, in my view, just to keep their jobs, just to keep their ministerial salaries. Probably to keep their MPs' salaries and expenses, because they know they'd possibly lose their seats if there was a snap general election. That certainly doesn't seem more important to me than the safety of women and girls.
This is your opportunity to take advantage of ExpressVPN and their best deal ever. Get a premium VPN with enhanced privacy, security and identity protection. By supporting ExpressVPN, you're supporting us here at GB News. And on premium and advanced plans, you get a dedicated zero-knowledge password manager app, and coming soon, the world's first consumer AI platform built on confidential computing. This video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, couldn't be easier to use. Just click the link, download the app, connect, and you're protected. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to save up to 82% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 extra months free.
Thoughts on my panel this evening: Daily Express columnist Carol Malone, former UK Party member, former Tory Party chairman Sir Jake Berry, and journalist Benjamin Butterworth. Yeah, Carol, I mean, you know, clearly, as far as Labour cabinet ministers are concerned, appointing the mate of the world's worst paedophile to a role as US ambassador is not worth resigning over.
Yeah, but, you know, I keep on reading that Starmer is a man who is a decent man who oozes integrity. This man doesn't have a scrap of integrity. If he did, he wouldn't have thrown his friend, Morgan McSweeney, who helped him get the Labour leadership, who helped him get into power to be Prime Minister. He would not have thrown him under the bus. If he had a shred of integrity, he would not have appointed Mandelson and then let his advisor take the blame, take the fall for it, because advisors advise, leaders decide, he makes the decision. If he had a shred of integrity, he would have resigned as Prime Minister for the mess he's made of governing this country, the way he has run this country for the past 2 years. But he doesn't. He looks to blame everyone else but himself. And I just find the fact that all of the cabinet, they've been ordered to rally round him. Of course they have. They haven't done that willingly because some of the members of the cabinet are ready to take his job. You know, you've got you've got what's his name, Miliband, who wants to take his job. You've got Angela Rayner, who apparently has got £1 million war chest in order to take his job. And yet suddenly we're supposed to believe today that they are backing him and that he's a man of integrity and he's a man who does well under pressure. Did anyone see him at the dispatch box last week? He buckled under pressure under skewering from Kemi Badenoch. He buckled.
Well, I mean, they can't claim to care about women and girls and sex abuse victims now, can they?
Well, let's not forget one of the key things in their manifesto was to halve violence against women and girls, which actually is something all of us should support. It's very bizarre then that you have a government that has failed to prosecute rape gangs and a Prime Minister who has appointed someone he knew was very closely associated with a vile paedophile to the most important ambassadorial job for the UK government. Look, this Starmer drama has just taken over government. You've had Wes Streeting tonight publishing his text messages with Peter Mandelson. Very interesting, actually, amongst other things, saying the government has no plan to grow the economy. That's the least surprising news we're going to hear on GB News tonight. You have Angela Rayner, Wes Streeting, Ed Miliband, all on manoeuvres. And what will have happened today is the Cabinet was sent an order by the Chief Whip, by the Chief of Staff, whoever it was, rally round the Prime Minister. And the only reason they've done it isn't because they think he's got what it takes to be Prime Minister. It isn't because they think he's a good leader. You can look at Wes Streeting's messages. To Mandelson is one of his best pals. He's repeatedly saying the Prime Minister's awful. They've done it because they want to be Prime Minister and the time isn't right for them. It's nothing to do with the good of the country. It's nothing to do with halving violence against young women and girls. It's nothing to do with growing the economy. It is a Labour Party psychodrama that is taken over government.
Yeah, I'll put the same question to you, Benjamin. I mean, how on earth can any of them claim to care about child abuse, victims, women and girls, all of that stuff, and not quit? And actively, I mean, we're going to talk about this more at 10 p.m. Apparently tonight, at this meeting that Starmer had with all the Labour MPs, they gave him a standing ovation. Yeah. Oh, they stood up and clapped him. They clapped him. Oh, he's great under pressure. Well, the pressure is because he appointed the friend of the world's worst paedophile to the position of US ambassador. I mean, how can these Labour MPs and these cabinet ministers support that?
Well, first of all, I think the bit that Keir Starmer and those around him can't say is that the reason Peter Mandelson was put forward for that job was because the logic was to put a snake in a snake pit, which is what Trump's White House is. And so there was an argument for it. And if you go back to when he was actually appointed, there is so much revisionism of people's claims because everybody at the time, almost everybody at the time, felt that Peter Mandelson was probably not a bad idea for that job.
David Lammy's come out and said he didn't think that. Angela Rayner's come out and said she didn't think that.
The media reaction and the political reaction, including both Reform and the Conservative Party, was not to say that what we know is that Mandelson is a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, because that was already well in the public domain. It had been widely reported by the FT, including a little trip away they'd had shopping. That was all in the public domain, and yet nobody was saying at the time that they thought that prohibited it.
Fine.
And so I don't say that as a defence of the situation, but what I say that for is that it shows just how widely in media and in Westminster people didn't have a problem with that.
So now we know what we know, and even if people knew it at the time, didn't say anything, or all of that stuff, do you honestly think that this Labour government, any of the cabinet ministers, can claim to care about child abuse now, having not resigned over this issue?
Yes, of course, because first of all, Keir Starmer was the person that sacked Peter Mandelson. But secondly, to take.
Sorry, he didn't sack him. He got full payoff, didn't he?
Yes.
Well, he didn't get a full payoff. He
would have got 50,000 pounds.
He got 3 months, will be the absolute minimum that your contract could give you. So that's not a big payoff. That's what you'd be required in any role.
For gross misconduct.
And also, they've already brought. Well, he wouldn't have been sacked for gross misconduct because there wasn't a disciplinary hearing, was there? That's the nature of politics overlapping with an actual contract. But I think they've pulled that into review. They announced it on Saturday, so he might have to give that money back.
Another review.
But the fact is that to try and say that because... the idea that Keir Starmer should be the person who loses his job when so many, all of these men, all of these people who have been exposed have not faced any consequences.
The buck stops with the guy in charge. He's the one who's paid the money. He's the one running the country. He's the one who made the decision to put Mandelson there. Everyone else just said, we advise you to or not. Starmer made the decision. He has to take the rap.
It's
There's
revisionism
no excuse
to
for
say...
it.
But
your
column didn't say that Epstein's friendship prohibited it. GB News didn't say
I'm
it.
sorry.
The Tory leader didn't say it.
The entirety of the media said that Mandelson should not have been appointed.
They did not say that the friendship with Epstein was prohibitive.
Yes,
That's
they
just
did.
a complete rewriting of history.
You're rewriting history now because
Kemi
the media
Baydock never mentioned it once. Not once.
I don't know
Okay, fine. Well, Joe, I mean, obviously Benjamin doesn't particularly want to answer the question about this, but going forward, I don't quite get how any member of that Labour cabinet can say that they care about anything to do with women and girls and sex assault and all of that stuff, because they will go down in history as the cohort of people who supported a Prime Minister who made that catastrophic decision. I mean, how on earth do they look at themselves in the mirror?
I think the challenge he's got is, interesting to see Lucy Bell. He's brilliant at dealing with pressure. He's brilliant at dealing with all of these crises that he creates. I mean, he is just a terrible Prime Minister. Leaving that one catastrophic decision aside, you could talk about winter fuel payments, you could talk about the farmers' tax, you could talk about the failure to create economic growth. The only reason they are not moving against Starmer isn't, at least Anas Sarwar, who's leader of the Labour Party in Scotland, was honest today. He came out and said this guy is completely incapable of either governing or leading the Labour Party. I've always liked Anas. I think he is a very honest politician.
Do you think so? Because the Labour are going to get slaughtered in Scotland come the elections, and that's not necessarily because of Starmer. That's because of the way he's running the Labour Party in Scotland.
The Labour Party on power in Scotland, I think it is because of Starmer. He told the truth.
Oh, come on.
This is catastrophically bad. As soon as they can, they will move against him when it suits them. He is a dead man walking.
You've got to look at the reasons why he won't resign. This is the most obdurate, stubborn man that I have ever seen in government. He is hopeless at his job. He is loathed in this country, and yet still he clings to power like a wounded buffalo. He's stumbling around, wrecking this country as he goes. And he will not... Everyone wants him to go. He must know it. He must know his cabinet wants him to go. Why won't he?
Well, some of West Streeting's especially... Again, we'll come on to that later on. West Streeting... has published his message, very fruity, have published his messages between him and Mandelson. Look, obviously people can make their own minds up about whether or not Labour cabinet ministers, full of principle, absolutely, have decided to try to save their own careers, their own ministerial salaries and their own expenses payments, as opposed to actually standing up for victims of child abuse at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. But anyway, a Home Office spokesperson has said the abuse of children by grooming gangs is one of the most horrific crimes imaginable. We'll do everything in our power to ensure these crimes never happen again. That is why we have launched a statutory inquiry equipped with powers and resources required to get to the truth and deliver justice for survivors.